So you got.
How you gonna tell me?
I'm starting now. So we got everybody back. All right. Good. You cold?
No.
Well, we'll warm it up. We'll start talking about some more absolute values.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Oh.
Okay. All right, now we're ready. We're back on page 6. Everybody turn back. Let's see if you can remember from lunch. Hope you had a good lunch. See if you can remember what it is we're doing here. We are solving absolute value inequalities, but we are using the number line to do it. Now, look at the last 2 problems we did and tell me what's different about this one. It has a coefficient here, right?
Yeah.
All right. This is like completing the square. You can't have that number there. So do you have any idea what I might do? Divide. And when I divide everything. So divide by 2, divide by 2, divide by 2. Now, somebody asked me, Miss Ford, is that legal? Mrs. Ford does not do illegal things. This is completely legal, or I wouldn't be up here doing it. That reduces us to x minus 4 greater than or equal to 7/2. Now, what's the decimal for 7/2? It might help us to think of that as a decimal. 3.5? So you can think about that as 3.5, 3.5. All right, so now I'm going to draw my number line. There it is. And right in the middle of that number line, I'm going to put a number. 4. The number I'm going to put in the middle of that number line is positive 4. And then I'm going to put a dot over here and a dot over here. And I'm going to label those dots by adding 3.5 and subtracting 3.5. Right?
Wouldn't the dots be closed?
The dots are going to be closed in this problem. Chris is right. Would you agree?
Yes.
All right, so what are these boundaries? What are these dots? 7.5 and 1/2. And I'm using decimals. Feel free to use fractions. So my oh, wait. Where's the shading? Now, this time it's greater than. You want to be farther away. Remember, this is a distance. I want to be farther away than 3.5. So that means I have to be past 7.5. Would you agree? If I want to be farther away. So I'm going to shade out here and I'm going to shade out here. Farther away. Less than is inside. Farther away is outside. Greater than is outside. Okay, so how do I write my answer? What's this one? Negative infinity to 0.5. Parentheses or brackets?
Bracket.
Bracket on the 0.5, but parentheses on the infinity. Because infinities always have parentheses. You can't get to it. You can't color it in. Or, union, what's this one going to look like?
Bracket
7.5.
Infinity parentheses.
Infinity parentheses. Perfect.
Did you?
Now one more. Oh, this one's really tricky. What's wrong with this one? Why does it look different? The 3 and the 4x are turned around, aren't they? Now you're going to love this. Remember a minute ago when I had 7 and 4 on the board and I said you could do 4 minus 7? As long as I'm doing absolute value, does it matter whether I do 7 minus 4 or 4 minus 7?
No.
So, if I don't like the order these numbers are in, I'm just going to turn them around. Now, you can't do that in regular math. I mean, it isn't true. 3 minus 4x does not equal 4x minus 3. You can't do that unless they are in absolute value. Then the order you subtract doesn't matter. 6 minus 10, absolute value, is exactly the same as 10 minus 6, right? So I don't like that order, I just turn it around. Now what? There's still something wrong with it though. I have to divide everything by 4. Remember, I can't deal with a number in front. So I'm going to divide everything by 4. So that leaves me with x minus 3/4 less than 9/4. Okay, so here's my number line. I'm going to leave this one as fractions. If you want to change it to decimals, you are free to do that. But I'm going to leave it as fractions. Here's why. What goes right here in the middle?
Negative 3/4.
Positive.
3/4. Come on, Molly.
Which is it?
Positive.
Why is it positive? Because I do the opposite, right? If it's x minus, I put the positive. If it's x plus, I put the negative. Now, I'm going to have 2 dots out here, and this time those dots will be open, right? And to figure out where those dots are, I'm going to add 9/4, and I'm going to subtract 9/4. Now, the reason I left this one as fractions is because these already have a common denominator, so it's going to be easy to add. If you want to change them to decimals, that's great. 3/4 plus 9/4
3.
is 12/4, and 12/4 is 3. Negative 9/4 plus 3/4 would be, or 3/4 minus 9/4 would be negative 6/4, which is negative 3/2. Now again, if you have decimals, that's fine. Negative 1.5 is fine. Now where am I going to shade this time? Inside, because less than means I want to be closer to it. So I'm going to shade in between the dots. And my answer will be negative 3/2, comma, 3. Okay? Everybody all right with that? Go to the very back, so you have this blank, go to the very back of your packet, and the back side is blank. Little pop quiz, pretend, not for real, but just pretend, pop quiz. Do this problem for me, and compare answers with your neighbor. Do that problem for me. Compare answers with your neighbor. On the back side of your packet, there's some blank space. Oh, you already filled in, but I think you have a little room down there. You can squeeze it in. So on the back side of your packet, do this problem for me real quickly. Shouldn't take too long. Let's see how you do. Hope you remember to do something before you started. Did you remember you have to divide by 2? Everybody divided by 2. If you didn't, go back and start over again, because you have to divide by 2.
Oh, that has to be right.
Did you draw a number line?
Yep.
And in the middle of the number line, you put what number?
-3.
Negative 3. So stop and make sure you put negative 3 in the middle of the number line. This is a distance, it has to be a difference. If that doesn't make sense to you, just remember you put the opposite. So -3, right? And then you're gonna put a dot over here and a dot over here, and those dots are both filled in. Everybody okay with that?
Yep.
And then we figure out what those labels are by counting back and forth 2.
Yeah.
So +2 would put me at -1, and -2 would put me at -5. And then you're almost done. You have to look at which direction this is pointing. It's pointing less than, so middle. How many of you put as an answer bracket -5, -1? Okay, this whole side of the room, what's going on over here? You guys got any questions? Okay, you gotta let me know that.
Sorry.
Alright, you okay? Yes.
So whatever is in like absolute value, like so far on this side it was x minus 3/4, it's always like the opposite?
Yep.
Okay, so it's not like
Yep.
positive, so it's just the opposite.
It's the opposite, it's the opposite. And sometimes, you know, we're gonna get ready to do another problem, we get kind of confused, what do I put in the middle? When you set up your number line and you need to put something in the middle, it's always the middle number. So in the problem, see how that's in the middle of the problem? That's what goes in the middle of the number line. Okay, the opposite of that goes in the middle of the number line. And then this is the number you use to count. Has it? You got it? Feeling good about it? So excited to be in pre-cal today, I can tell. Now, let's turn the page. Is that ice cream?
No.
Oh,
Yogurt.
yogurt? Oh, that's better for you. All right, turn the page.
As soon as I get it.
I love yogurt, but when I was in the hospital, I had to pack protein like crazy because chemo ruined your blood, and you know, you gotta build new blood cells and stuff. So they put protein powder in my yogurt, and I hate protein powder, and I had to eat it. So my yogurt was like gritty, it tasted terrible. I know. Someday I'll tell you some of my chemo stories.
So it ruined yogurt for you?
Oh, I still eat it now, but I don't put protein powder in it. This is a different looking problem. This problem looks different. There's no absolute value. There's a square. Boys and girls, this is a different problem, different kind of problem, so we approach it a different way. Now, the good news is we're still going to use a number line, but the bad news is we have to do some stuff before we get to that point. When I wrote this problem up here, you being 4th year students, you should immediately feel like, oh, I want to do this. What do you want to do to it? You want to factor it. When you see an easy one like that, maybe you don't want to factor it, but it occurs to you that you could factor it. How does this factor? X, not -4, let's be careful. -5 and +1. Now, we used 5 and 1, kids, because that's what you have to multiply to get 5. So 5 and 1 are your choices. Now, I'm old, I do this for a living, I practiced a ton, and I still always check. I do a quick mental check. Outsides give me 1x, insides give me -5x. Do those add up to the right middle term that I'm supposed to have? Yes, so I'm good. I've got it factored, I'm ready to go. So now I'm gonna draw my number line. And just like before, I'm going to put 2 dots on that number line. Take a wild guess where I'm gonna put those dots. At 5 and -1. If you said that, you are right on target. The opposite, just like we put the opposite of the absolute value, we do the opposite of these parentheses. So -1 and 5. Now, notice I put them on the line in the order they would come on the line, right? Don't be putting 5, -1, that will screw up your answer. You have to put them on there in order. Okay? Now, what's your favorite number, Chris? 56. Okay, we'll use 56. Nobody ever uses 56, but that's an awesome number. It's not like your football number or something.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just a big number, is all. It's okay. So I'm gonna let X be 56. So if I put 56 into this parentheses right here, if I put 56 in there, I get 51. And if I put 56 in here, I get 52. No, I don't. I get 57. How did I get 52? I don't know. 57, right? Now, I'm multiplying those together. So I don't even know what this is going to give me. It's going to give me some big giant number, and it's going to be positive. This is going to give me a positive number. I'm multiplying them. I'm multiplying these. That's going to be a positive number. Now, this is the kind of answer I wanted. What does greater than 0 mean?
Anything bigger than 0.
Well,
Positive.
positive. Doesn't greater than 0 mean positive?
Yeah.
So, did Chris's answer, which is located out here in this part of the number line, did his answer give me a positive result?
Yep.
So this section of the number line is going to get colored in. From the dot on is going to get colored in. Now, I might have said my favorite number is 7. 7 is in the same section of the number line, isn't it? It's over here. If I put 7 in, I get 2 times 8. Does that give me a positive number? Yes. In fact, does it matter which number you pick over here? You want somebody to go with you? So I'm going to plug in any number over here that I want. Any number that I want that's bigger than 5, and it would give me a positive result. So I'm going to color in that because positive is what I wanted. Sometimes I even write the word positive to remind myself. Positive is what I want. Okay? Now, here's the coolest thing about these problems. This section of the number line got colored in. So this section will not get colored in, and this section will get colored in. You alternate your coloring. So these 2 dots split the number line up into 3 pieces. If you colored in this section, then you don't color this one and you do color this one. If you had a problem that had 3 dots, and this one was colored in, and you knew that because you picked a number, and it worked, like 56 or something, would this section be colored?
Nope.
Nope. Would this section be colored?
Nope.
Nope. Would this section be colored?
Yep.
Yep, and that would be your answer then. Now, Austin, he picked the number 56, and it worked. It gave me a positive, big positive number, so that's what I wanted. I wanted a positive number. I got one, so that worked. But what if your favorite number was 2? So instead of calling on him, I called on you and said, what's your favorite number? And you said 2. If you put 2 in here, now 2's right here. Here's where 2 is. If you put in 2, you'd get -3 times 3, which is a negative number. Now, negative is not what I want. So that would tell me that I don't shade this section because it didn't give me a positive answer. I'm only shading positives. Okay? So if this section wasn't shaded, does it make sense to you then that this and this would be? Because we alternate. So what I'm trying to get you guys to see is it doesn't matter what number you pick. Pick any number you want, except -1 and 5. You can't pick those. Pick any number you want. And then that will tell you whether to shade that section. And then based on that, you can determine which other sections need to be shaded. I know it's confusing. Let's try another one. Let's look at B. Let's look at B.
How would you grade a problem like that if everyone has a different answer?
Oh, wait a second. I didn't write the answer. Thank you for reminding me. I never wrote the answer. I colored it, but I never wrote it. No, honey, we are all gonna get the same answer. How you get there will be different, but we're all gonna get the same answer. Because you're gonna be shading in the same spots. You may be picking a different number, nobody else is gonna pick 56. You may pick 7, or 10, or 2, or -15, but it won't matter, because when you pick a number, it will either shade that section or not. And your shading's gonna match my shading, because you're either gonna be positive or negative. We're gonna match, okay? Whoever asked the question, we're gonna match.
I was wondering.
So, So the answer, I never answered the question. Thank you, Marley, for pointing that out to me. Negative infinity to -1 or 5 to infinity. I always want to make sure I answer the question. My number line gives me the answer, but I need to check it. Okay, oh my goodness, big problem. All right, let's try this one. Who has a thought on how to do that problem right there? How do we start? Factoring. Does anybody know how this one factors? X, 10 plus 10 minus 1. I'm going to do that quick mental check. -1, +10. Does that add up to 9? I'm good. You're good. You got it. Now I'll draw my number line. What 2 dots are going to go on my number line?
-10.
-10, +1, in that order. Okay, John, what's your favorite number? Okay.
I'll give you a little one.
All right, now, if we pick, all right, 66 is in this section of the number line. Would everybody agree with that?
Yep.
So whether you pick 66, 7, 2, 10, it isn't gonna matter. You can pick any number you want that's bigger than 1. I'll use 66. If I put 66 in, that gives me a 76 times a 65. Now that is a huge number. I don't even care what it is. When I multiply those together, however, it will be positive. Will you agree with me? These 2 times each other are going to give me a positive answer. Now what kind of an answer am I looking for this time? Less than 0 means negative. This time I need negative answers. I don't want positive answers, I want negative answers. 66 does not give me a negative answer. So 66 doesn't work, which means I don't shade. Now if I don't shade that, because it didn't work, what am I going to shade? This one? And what about this one? No, it alternates. So this time, the number I tried didn't work, so I don't shade it. That means I do shade and I don't shade. So my answer is -10 to 1. We're going to do one more, and then I think I've probably fried you enough. So let's look at problem C. X minus 5, X plus 2. Very good, Deshani, very good. She did that awfully fast. I'm going to do a quick mental check. Plus 2 minus 5 gives me negative 3. She's got it. That's the factoring. It's beautiful. Where do the dots go, Bailey McHugh? In that order, and they are open. Right? Now, I'm going to try this one more time. Miss Farthing, what is your favorite number? 6. Awesome. There's a number I can deal with. 6. Now, where is 6 on the number line? 6 is over here, right? So once again, we're checking this space. So we're going to put in 6, and we get 1 times 8. Remember, this is a multiply. These are factors. They're being multiplied. So if I put in 6, that gives me 1. If I put in 6, that gives me 8. Now I am multiplying those together, and I will get a positive 8, right? What kind of answer did I want?
Less than.
Less than 0, which is
Negative answer.
negative. So did that 8 work for me? No. So I am not shading, which means I am shading and I am not shading. So my answer is negative 2 to 5 in parentheses.
Wow.
Okay, now you have one more test. I'm done. You have one more task. Look at,
I was excited.
because I'm done.
No, because we have another task.
Okay. D. I want you to do D. As soon as you bring your answer up and show it to me, you may leave. But you got to do D, and you got to bring it up and show it to me. You already got it done. Let's see if you got it right. Oh, you are a wizard. You only have one tiny mistake. She's a wizard. One tiny mistake. Okay, the whole idea was you were going to come up and show it to me. Oh, I don't see an answer. You got to put an answer there. Remember, you need an answer like this. Okay?
Wait a second.
So as soon as you have an answer, you can go. As soon as you have an answer that's approved, you can go. You have a silly mistake. See if you can catch it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm lost.
Are you done?
No. What?
I'm lost.
You lost.
No. You have a
So
mistake
crazy.
right from the beginning. You have a mistake right from the very beginning.
Almost in the trap.
Okay, you don't have an answer yet.
So wait, I thought you was supposed to get different answers because we use different numbers. So like, if I use 6, so 6 plus 3, it gives me.
How are you gonna tell me?
You are so close. You are like right there.
Nicholas, you silly gooser.
All of that.
We have a winner.
Oh, what is in your pocket?
My phone. Finger's not going.
Oh, we got a silly gooser loser.
Hey. Hey, Nick. Was your shaded on the outside?
That's because I'm always shady on the outside.
Yeah, we know.
Extra shady.
It's
Never mind.
negative an A3 and negative 2 and infinity.
Oh wait, shit. Sure.
This is just way too basic. I'm not like it. I'm just gonna grab your backpack because it's time to go. And I got so many things.
And get turned. Cabbage, before. I think it's real wet in there. I'm gonna start playing music today. Parents, you guys play music? You guys play music in your class? Yeah. Yeah, back up. You get the same habit. You got it, so. White or green Nike skate. It's on.
Hey, I got
What is this?
you got it wrong.
What do you mean?
Love you is hard, but I.
What, brother?
I just got this one. You gotta do the. Mine's got the same one for square.
Gotta go,
I
gotta
got the.
go.
God, you fuck.
What's the parentheses? Wait, what?
Well, I can just walk it.
Oh.
And then a square thing. Dirty, rusty. So I wanna. Have you ever seen the movie Good Luck Chuck? And that's not a negative infinity. That's just regular. I forget what the movie is. Have you ever seen Good Luck Chuck? Have you seen it? What is it? Good Luck Chuck. That one. I've heard of it. Yeah. Like, yeah. That's so good. Yeah.
Get on my, get on
What?
No, bitch. This for my dad. No, your pencil, which is on my desk. I'm really gonna watch this.